The Price of Inequality by the Nobel Prize winner in economy Joseph E. Stiglitz has been one of the most popular economic books in years. Today I'm going to review it. Hit the subscribe button and leave a like for more book reviews. Anyway guys, let's get started. So, in several decades now, the wealth of the lower and the middle class in the US has been shrinking. Meanwhile, the wealth of the richest part of the population has increased in a rapid pace. The decline in wealth for the lower and middle class shouldn't really make sense. The US GDP has in these last decades grown almost every year. Therefore, these classes should technically have become richer than they were for 30 years ago. However, like the author addresses, this has obviously not been the case. One of the reasons why is because the real wages for these classes have actually been declining during this time. Real wages are wages adjusted for inflation. In other words, since it has declined, the lower and middle class can today buy fewer goods and services than back in 1980. In his book, Mr. Stiglitz pointed out many reasons why the purchasing power has been weakened, but the ones I found most compelling are first of all the impact of globalization. To be more precise, globalization has led to many companies can produce the same goods as it did before, but now with cheap labor. This has caused a reduction in the demand for US workers to produce those goods. Thereby the wages have declined. Similarly, the author addresses the following in his book. With capital highly mobile and with tariffs low, firms can simply tell workers that if they don't accept lower wages and worse working conditions, the company will move elsewhere. In plain English, the company's owners and leaders have so much power over the worker. Do you know where they're situated in terms of the income distribution? Well, they are in the top. Other than globalization, the government and lobbyism have also been major factors in the current inequality. This is because big wealthy corporations, and to some extent wealthy persons, developed a great relationship with the government by mostly donating a lot of money to them. Why are they doing that? They're doing it because then the next bill will be in favor of them. There could for instance be made loopholes in the bill, so they're not going to pay a lot in taxes as they are supposed to. With this, their wealth is increasing, whereas the lower and middle class who have no money and thereby no political power are being forgotten. With reference to this, Joseph Stiglitz also writes a lot about that the economy system in the US is made by politics, but not in a democratic way. It's not one person equals one vote, which it should be, but instead $1 equals one vote. There's namely a cost to voting. It takes time to get to the voting booth, it's hard to get registered, and the public transportation could be poor. Likewise, the people don't think they can make any difference with their vote when they don't donate any money. In order to illustrate this, we can here see how few people voted in the recent 6 elections. To get to the one person, one vote point, the political process must be reformed. The reform should make it easier for the poor to vote and make restriction against too many donations. If this could change, so the candidates who actually want to make the country more equal could get into Congress and fight for the lower and middle class's voice, things will then become much better. When that is said, thank you for watching. If you want more details upon this topic, I highly recommend you buying this book. There's a link for that in the description below. Anyway, subscribe and like if you want more reviews like this. See you next time.